So since I stopped playing out on tour in 2014 and 2015, let's just say, for example, I've given 10,000 lessons. To date, no joke, I've had 7 people get this right. 7. So odds are you're probably not one of those 7, so you probably would do what everybody else has done. And what we're going to talk about right now is the importance of proper alignment and how your eyes really have a dramatic effect on building that stock shot. So kind of when I started teaching, I remember playing this Pro-Am at this course down the street called Brookside Country Club. And when I was playing in this thing, I was kind of one of the first times I had really played in this Pro-Am here in Columbus, aside from playing some Pro-Ams out on tour. And I remember distinctly thinking, if I could teach this membership how to properly align, I bet you I could cut their handicap in half. So alignment is really, really important. And quite frankly, if you can't get this concept, then nothing else really matters, quite frankly. And when we get to the end of the video, I'll kind of really tell you why. So what happens when I see more times than not, the player sets up, and right now we're on the 16th hole at Muirfield Village. So when the player sets up and they get in their setup, right, I'm going to take this alignment stick here. They're going to get in their posture, and they're going to go like this. And what we're going to do is I'm going to set up where the player, I'd say, hey, aim the club like right here at the flag. So this is where the flag, it's on the left side of the green here. And I'm going to set up, and let's say I get my alignment. The player goes like this. Now, one first misconception with alignment is that players check their alignment by their toes, right? The problem is that if I were to go like this, right, and I were to have this, and I had my feet dead square, right, that makes my alignment look one way. But the truth is we actually want our feet to be a little flared. Right? So if I did this and I laid it on my toes, well, now that changes my alignment. But your alignment never changed. You just flared your toes. So when you check your alignment, you take your posture and make sure that when you align, you lay the alignment stick on your heels, right? So what you're going to see here is that you can kind of have like a nice little illustration because you got the seam here in the map. When the player does this and they check their alignment, 99 out of 100 times, this alignment stick is aimed to the right. So usually it looks something like this, right? So they look at it, and from down the line view, they go, oh, great, it's looking right at the target. I'm aimed right at the flag. The truth of the matter is that we play golf to the side of the ball, right? So if I'm set like this and my toes look like they're looking right at the flag, I'm actually aimed about like 30 yards right. Right? So what happens is now my club face, if we were to draw parallel lines between this, like this, my club face is now aimed to the right. And my brain is like way smarter than my body, so I'm going to make compensations in my swing to get this golf ball to go to that flag. So when they set up like this, they're going to aim, and now they're going to do some sort of compensation, such as over the top or like flip their hands or do something to get the ball to go straight. So when we take our alignment, we want to aim, like if you were to take your right arm and you were to aim your right arm at the flag, and then take your left arm and aim your left arm parallel to that. So you can see that if I were to do that and my club face was square, so this orange stick is the square, right? And then I was going to aim to the right, that would make my heels, if I were to do this, you can see my heels are aimed here. Okay, so like when I'm playing out on the golf course, I'm going to first aim my club face. I'm not going to like walk in and aim my feet and then my face. You always want to walk in, aim your club face. Then I look like 20 yards left. So when I point, you can see the shadow. I'm aiming my feet like right here. And then if I were to take my setup, I'm looking parallel left. I'm going to aim my feet and my heels, and now I'm set square because it's really hard to aim. This is why it's so difficult. It's like you're shooting a rifle like this. But most people, like if they were shooting a rifle, they would make it to where their eyes are looking at the flag, but then the gun would be pointing out here to the right, making it really, really hard to aim straight. So you actually need to aim your body parallel left. And now, once I do that, I can start to build a swing that's built around physics and efficiency, which has the most amount of time for minimum amount of compensation. Whereas if I were to aim right, I've got to make a lot of compensations in a minimum amount of time. So this is really important because if I get you to swing it, say, like Rory McIlroy, but you aim 30 yards right, you're just going to hit it 30 yards right, and you're going to go, well, that didn't work. But it actually did. You're actually hitting it down your desired line, right? So I always say, hey, if you were going to spend like 10 grand on lessons, this is worth like $9,950. So like, this is really, really important stuff. So we got the alignment, right? We're going to aim our club face at the flag. We're going to look parallel left. Now the second part of when you're coming to the golf room and you were on the lesson tee, I would then take a stick, like with an alignment rod or a shaft, and I would come out here and I'd walk out here, and you're just going to have to take my word for it that this is kind of what would happen because it happens with everybody. So this is how they align. And then I walk out here and I go, okay, I'm going to put this out about 8 yards in front of you. You tell me like where straight is. So what I mean by that is like when the player's standing like this and they're looking at the flag, where do they perceive straight? And every single person puts the noodle about here. Okay? So they set up, and then to their eyes, right, like this looks like to my eyes like I'm in line with the flag. But you can see what would happen if I had a tendency, like most, to aim right. I perceive the flag to be more left, and then I make compensations to get the ball to go back there. So every time the ball starts left and like slices or pull hooks, you're hitting it like exactly where your brain wants to hit it, right? So it's really, really important. It's called the principle of parallax, where we want to actually start the ball on the proper line. So then we change their alignment, right? We do that right arm at the flag, aim your left arm parallel to that, right? We check it on the heels. So now we're parallel. And then I go, okay, well, this is the reality of where straight is. So I move here. So this is straight, and they kind of like look at me like, oh my gosh, that looks so far right. Because from this viewpoint, the straight point from face on would actually feel like the right side of the green. But remember, we're trying to build a stock shot. We're trying to be more consistent, and trying to hit it dead straight is like trying to find a unicorn. I mean, you might as well go try to look for a pot of gold beneath a rainbow. It's just really, really hard. So now if I were to, hold on, this thing fell over. If I were to set this up, and this is like, this is a great drill. This is kind of like your base practice station when you're out there, is you would take an alignment stick, set it on the target line about 8 paces out, so it's right, right straight, and then set this one about a foot to the right. Now it's kind of giving you like a little field goal that you could set up and try to see if you can start it right if you want to hit a draw, start it right, curve back, and not over curve the line, right? And when you're in your setup here, like if I'm going like this and I was setting up and hitting, this right noodle, right, so this launch direction basically would create about like a 9-foot or 12-foot draw, so like a 4-yard draw. But from the person's perspective, when they're setting up here, it looks like so far right, it's just insane. But you'll be amazed that when you do this at your course, and you're kind of doing this zone game, how much your body will just react, and you'll start making like a bigger turn, and you'll start swinging, we'll say, out to right field. So a lot of times on the lesson tee, the pro will see the guy coming over the top, and they'll say, swing to right field, where this feels like down the foul line, but it's really not even that far, right? So this is like the first thing that you could do is you got to make sure that your alignment is parallel, right? So we got the principle of parallax where I'm going to put it on my heels. This is going to be aimed like 20 yards left. This is aimed down the target, and then I'm going to try to learn to teach my eyes what that stock shot is and where that field goal post is, where I can start it right, curve it back, and not over curve the line. So this is like the first game or the first thing that you need to do to build that stock shot, because if you don't have proper alignment and you can't see, you can't see like where the actual start line is to curve it back, nothing else matters, right? I can make you swing it so good, like I said, but if you're aimed right, you're just going to hit it really flush, but right, and that's just as bad. So this is the first thing to building that consistency. Go to your range, try this little game. Let us know how it goes, and we look forward to the next series on how we can actually go about changing some mechanics so that you can help build this stock shot into your game.